Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm a Cloudy Sheep and we are playing Democracy 3, in which we are trying to turn the US of A communist. We just finished our first year in office, during which we introduced a couple of laws, mainly trying to address the most urgent things that we are seeing over here. In particular, the racism that we can see coming down over here, the ghettos, which is driven by racial tensions. Racial tensions are coming down very nicely. As you can see, we addressed the policing, we addressed race discrimination, and just racism in general. So we do hope that that will drive down ghettos pretty strongly. Internet crime should be brought down by our increased funding for the intelligence services, which will have the nice effect that we will be able to lock up our dissidents later on. It's a bit more of a role-playing thing, but it will allow us to address some of these intelligence issues over here a little bit better. So yeah, that's going to be nice. Also, all of the other things are hopefully being addressed. Specifically, the skills shortage will hopefully come down significantly over here over the next couple of turns, because that is really something that we need to push down below this stop trigger, so that it doesn't hurt our economy quite as much anymore. Also, the rare earth crisis is something that I really hope that will go down quite a bit more, and finally stop this effect from happening. So, most importantly though, in our second year, what we want to address is our budget deficit over here, because as you can see, we are earning about $1 trillion in income. We're spending 500 million more than that, so we're outspending our income by nearly, well, right about 50%. Or a third of our expenditure is actually not covered by any income, so that's pretty drastic. I also mentioned that a lot of our expenditure must by now be interest, so is that correct? Do we see interest? Debt interest right over there. Yeah, 50 billion is what we're paying in debt interest, 3% of our total expenditures. Not the most important thing, but still pretty critical. So how we want to do that is, of course, since we are socialist and communist, we want to increase our income rather than cut any spending. So we'll have to address this by increasing the income tax over here. That's going to have a huge effect on the middle income and wealthy people. So unfortunately we can't do that quite now because I miscalculated and we are a little bit shy on the political capital. We would need 30 political capital to raise that. We only have 29, so we'll not be able to do that for now. We will be able to do so next turn, hopefully, if we save up enough political capital. But we do need to spend a little bit because our maximum political capital that we can have is about 38, so that's something that we need to address. So we have enough to spend about 10, and I want to address science funding down here. Science funding, as you can see, influences a couple of things: energy efficiency, innovation, unemployment, technology, GDP, and of course state employees. So you can see that over here as well. Now, since we are somewhat middle of the ground in terms of science funding, it's not necessarily going all too well, so I want to increase that a little bit, and there are going to be huge effects. So first of all, it's a very costly effect. It would add about 50 million or so, a little bit less, on our expenditures, so that's something that we need to address by, again, raising income. But on the other hand, it will increase GDP, long term though, but I still think it's worthwhile. Nearly 4% increase in GDP. Energy efficiency is going to be great because it's going to require less oil. Technology, of course, is a nice effect. People will like us more, and innovation is going to go up as well, so that's nice to see. Unemployment is also going to come down, so yes, I'm very happy with these changes. Let's spend our political capital over here. We do need to spend at least 4 more political capital, and something that I do want to address is in transport over here. Let's do a couple of bicycle subsidies. They're pretty cheap, both in terms of political capital and in terms of actual funding. So they'll make health go up a little bit. They'll reduce car, rail and bus usage. So car usage in particular is rather an annoyance. It must be over here, I think. Car usage, it's coming down already, mostly due to the telecommuting initiative that we did. But of course it's hugely it's really bad for us, basically, due to the asthma epidemic, the traffic congestion, and all of that. So yeah, we are hoping to bring that down a little bit. Bus usage, on the other hand, and rail usage are lowering car usage. So the effect of the bicycle subsidies, where are they? over here might not be quite as good as you'd expect, because as you bring down rail and bus, you're again bringing up car usage, so it might not be decreased by 2.5%, but still it's going to be one nice effect. And because that's so nice, we're also going to do the other thing over here, namely the cycling campaign. So we are asking people to do that more. And it has very similar effects, even though it's a little bit cheaper. So that should bring us to 19 political capital. There we are. I think that means we can end the turn. Oh, we do need to resolve an issue though. So software patents. Software patents are a form of intellectual property law that allows companies to protect algorithms, piece of software, that implement a new technology, such as a new type of translation software or system for purchasing online. They're generally popular with big business, but unpopular with those who fight for a free internet, and those who think the patents are far too general and stifle innovation. So I think it's a very great idea. Personally, I think it's a very great idea to allow certain types of software patents. Not too strictly, so I don't think you should be able to patent features, but I do think you should be able to patent certain types of code. I think that has been very instrumental in giving rise to Silicon Valley, but you know, we are role-playing a little bit over here. We are playing the Patent Bros, so we are, sorry, the Bernie Bros, rather. So we are gonna say software patents sounds reasonable until you realize they can be used to stifle competition and innovation. Few of the ideas being patented are truly original discoveries, but simply a land grab by lawyers to patent the obvious and ensure a virtual monopoly on the tech firms with the most lawyers. This is nothing but a big business protection. So yes, we are going to reject that over here. That's probably not going to be great for our GDP, but let's go ahead and see where that turns to. So a couple of things over here. So GDP is sort of stabilizing, didn't exactly go great. I think we will see a negative effect from the software patents down here. Yeah, minus 2% on the GDP. That's not great. It's not particularly bad though. Health is still very high, education is increasing even, unemployment is starting to come down a little bit after that big crisis in GDP over here. Crime rates are slowly coming down, so that's nice to see. Poverty is still going up, mainly due to the unemployment probably. Yeah, so that's not great, and our credit rating has again been downgraded, so that's certainly very bad. Overall, the economic forecast, world GDP, so the global GDP, this line over here is still at a very low level that drags down our relative GDP with it, and has this widening gap between expenditures and income. Well, only truly the income. The expenditures is purely my doing. So we are standing at a very rapid decrease in deficit over here, and a very horrible debt to GDP ratio. So these are things that we do need to address. More importantly though, we have a warning from our minister, so very shortly we'd probably want to deal with that. And yeah, we'll have to actually do so. Let's also briefly check the threat assessment. So yeah, nothing too severe right now, so that's very good. So yeah, here we go. Let's increase our income tax and bring down the deficit of about 650 billion by quite a bit. So right now we are at 600, so I would hope that we are ending somewhat over here. Let's see how severe that is. So we would bring down bring up the tax rate from 31% to about, I would guess, 70 maybe. Let's see what that does. So it increases the way that socialist people will like us. Yes, that's nice to see. That's what we're trying to do. It will massively decrease our popularity with capitalists, that I can swallow. The equality will go up quite a bit. The middle income is going to go down. Is that middle income or is that middle income people? I think it's middle income people. So they'll be it will be hugely unpopular with them, and that's something really bad, but we will have to try to work around that. Wealthy people will like it. Poor earnings, middle earnings, high earnings will all come down. Internet currency adoption is gonna increase a little bit, and unemployment is gonna suffer massively. But I do think it's something that we do need to do. So let's go ahead, apply these changes. Do we want to go up a little bit more even, since we are doing this already? I think 75% might be a little bit better, just so that our income is going to increase a little bit more. of course we have very, very low political income, but so that we are not only just decreasing the deficit, but maybe actually running a slightly positive balance over here, which I think would be great. So yeah, that's nice to see. Let's briefly check out how skill shortage is coming along over here. That's very nice to see. This is still coming down. Alcohol consumption is coming down. That's nice to see. Shouldn't you be stopping anytime soon? I thought you would. Antisocial behavior, that's certainly going to go away, so that's nice to see. With a political capital we can't do that much, so let's briefly check what is even on the table over here. Not that much. Free eye tests, yeah, that might be nice. Witness protection program, fuel efficiency standards. Nothing of that is truly important, but let's go ahead and do diplomatic service, since that is it's pretty neat, and it will increase foreign relations. And foreign relations are useful, at least over here. They have a couple of positive effects. Racial tensions are going up, probably because it's so low. Immigration is going to come up a little bit. International trade will not suffer quite as badly. So, and rare earth crisis will probably be averted a little bit. So that's nice to see. Right, I think we should be... Yeah. Let's go ahead and see how our budget balancing is coming along over here. God damn it. So, GDP is going up a little bit, health is still high, crime is coming down significantly now, very significantly, because antisocial behavior is at an end, so that's great to see. Unemployment still climbing up, poverty is coming up along with that, so that's not great. Economic forecast though, our income is now exceeding our expenditures, so that's very nice to see. Our relative GDP seems to be coming up as well. So that's very great. We even have a surplus. We will need to work very hard to bring down our debt levels a little bit, and maybe get a little bit of better credit rating, because that's still not very sustainable, and you know, the economy might tank a little bit more or things like that. So I'm not feeling very safe over here, but I still hope that the rare earth crisis is gonna stop at some point. That's dragging down our GDP by nearly 4%, and the skills shortage probably by a little bit more even. So yeah, but it really should stop soon. So I'm very hopeful that that is going to help us a little bit over there. So that being said, we will need to either hire someone new for the welfare office, or I think what I want to do is reshuffle our cabinet. And that's going to take a short while, because it's taking 10 political capital, so it's not very cheap. But I think it's very worthwhile to do. So we can now pick new people, and I do think I want to start with the Chancellor, because it's pretty crucial actually that we get a good person. Right. So we want someone who actually desires a job in tech, so for example these two people, or actually all these three people. And we want someone who's contributing a lot of political capital right now, but we also want them to be loyal for quite a while. So the best person would be someone with a lot of bars over here, and someone who is very likely to like us in this regard. So ideally someone who's socialist, not capitalist. Capitalists will hate us. Religious people will probably not continue to like us very much. Self-employed people, religious, no, these are not good candidates. Conservatives and patriots, I can somewhat see that being helpful. Also the experience helps, because that means we can bring in a little bit better people. Liberal capitalists, no. Conservative farmers, yeah, maybe. Religious capitalists, no. Trade unionists and patriots, yeah, I think that... Oh, all retired and So this person is really good at campaigning. This person is a little bit more experienced though, and she brings in much more political capital. So I think Amy Hughes over here is going to be a very great candidate for our tax office, for our chancellor office, where she'll bring in a little bit of experience, which will help collect a little bit more taxes, and she'll be very loyal, so she'll contribute a lot of political capital. And since she's favoring patriots and trade unionists, I think got that. I think it's... So where was she? Over here. I think she's going to be a very, very fine choice. And since we are hiring a woman, or since we are playing the Boney Bros, I think it's appropriate to hire a woman first, just to make sure we are sending out the right signs over here. Second office that we do want to fill is welfare, so let's have a look at who's there. I think I like Mary Perilous over here right away. Trade unionist, socialist. She's very likely to remain loyal to us for a very long time. And that might not be too bad. Someone who's really experienced might be good, but not if they are leaning, if they have any capitalist leanings. Welfare, you're not too great. Retired trade unionist, but you're not really experienced anyway. So let's go ahead and take Merrill over here, and that should give us a little bit more political capital as well. Public services, of course, a very important area for us. Ethnic minorities and conservatives, you might not be too bad. Self-employed, no. I think someone conservative, religious, no. Public services, public, conservative and farmers. Do you have some campaigning progress? Yeah, let's pick you. Economy then. Conservative and patriotism, I'm not sure. So where we were at economy, right. So farmers, environmentalists, no, I don't think so. Economy, anyone? Liberal and capitalist, certainly not. Liberal and ethnic minorities, I don't think you'll like us a lot, because liberal people are, for now, very, very opposed to us. Liberal mainly is meant in the social dimension in this game, so that means people who are not necessarily in favor of policing, basically. So yeah, motorist, liberal, no. Well, there's no really, really strong candidate. Liberal capitalist, certainly not. Economy, anyone? Well, both of these are okay, I guess. Her loyalty is a little bit better. Yeah, let's go ahead with that. We have 4 women by now, so that's interesting. Let's see who we can get for law and order. Self-employed religious, no, I'm not too sold on that. Religious and conservative. Parents and patriots, you might be a little bit better. We also have a good campaigning progress, so that's nice to see. So many capitalists. I don't like you. Trade unionists. You might be good. You have better political capital. Your loyalty is sort of low. But your experience is pretty high, so... but also the campaigning and trade unionists, I think you might be a good choice. Let's go ahead with that. Transport. Who can do that? I don't really care about that much, but it's gonna be important. Transport, farmers and parents, I'm not sure. Maybe. That's a maybe. I think so far that's the strongest that we've seen. Liberal is a no. Liberal is a no. Yeah, I think farmers and parents, because why not? And lastly, our foreign affairs minister. So that'd be ethnic minorities, conservatives, parents, patriots. Yeah, let's go ahead. So yeah, just 2 men. Honestly, I like that cabinet, and it's gonna give us quite a little bit of political capital per turn. Our maximum isn't that great, so we'll need to be a little bit careful around that. But yeah, 29 sounds pretty good. Actually, that means we have to spend about 3 at least, otherwise they'll be wasted. Right, and we don't have that much political capital left, so let's see what we could do. Tourism, yeah, might be nice. Economy, work safety law, certainly not be too bad. Health food subsidies. I'm not too sure whether we should be handing out subsidies right now. Compulsory foreign languages isn't such a bad idea. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. It's going to improve international trade and foreign relations. Going to decrease racial tensions by quite a bit. It's going to have a hugely long time effect, but still it might be nice. So let's go ahead and take the turn and see where that takes us. God damn it! God damn it! So yeah, this is really bad for us. The brain drain income tax, that's gonna have a huge negative effect on GDP. The good thing though is it's gonna decrease capitalist memberships by quite a bit, so that means more socialists for us, because everyone who's not a capitalist in this game is a socialist. In terms of productivity, we are capped out on that, so that's not quite as bad. I'm not too sure why our credit rating is being downgraded though. I thought we had a surplus. We have a very tiny surplus. Why did our expenditures go up quite as dramatically? I'm not sure what was the reason for that. Let's see whether we can't find that out. Can we see the expenditures? Yeah, our income really is skewed really strongly towards income tax. So I want to find out charts, expenditures. Why did it go up so drastically? We didn't increase our spending by that much. We only hired new people, which I think might be the reason, because you're a little bit less experienced, and maybe that means we are spending less frequently. Is that it? Maybe it is. In that case it would come down a little bit over time, and we might overcome specifically the credit rating downgrade. That's really bad. The brain drain is gonna be very hard to overcome, but we'll need to work hard on that, because there's not much we can do about that. Unemployment seems to be coming down. That's nice to see. So yeah, poverty is still coming up. That's of course very bad. Crime is coming up as a consequence of that. So yeah, we'll have to see how that works. Brain drain, yeah, not that much we can do about it. Rare earth crisis is also seemingly not helping that much. Skills shortage, that should stop soon, so that I'm very happy about. How much are we spending on adult education subsidies? Oh, not that much. So yeah, that should hopefully be a thing of the past soon. Likewise, ghettos should stop. Alcohol abuse is still at a very high level, as is internet crime. Internet crime is actually really bad, even though technology is coming down a little bit. So not sure what we can do about this. Well, I do have an idea what we can do about this. It's not going to be very popular though, so we'll have to think a bit about that in a short while. Homelessness is increasing. That's not good. Hopefully the asthma epidemic is starting to decrease, because I mean parents would really love us if we could get rid of that. So yeah, that'd be great. Right, so what can we do in terms of our expenditures? I would really like the alcohol abuse to stop. It's costing us 50 billion. 50 billion, that would be a long way to achieving a surplus over here. Asthma epidemic is not quite as bad. The other thing though that we still could look at is military spending over here. The issue is a little bit that we just hired a couple of people who were really, let's have a look at that, patriots? Where are patriots? Should be over here. Yeah, there we are. So there are two sympathetic ministers, so I don't want to piss off patriots too much, but if we decrease funding a little bit, they'll be less fond of us. There will be high unemployment, but more importantly, we will of course free up some money. So if we were to say free up 100 billion over here, roundabout, yeah, the positive effect on the patriots would decrease massively. Liberals would not dislike us quite as much. The strong leader image would go down a little bit, but I still think this is a very prudent thing, so let's decrease our military spending by a little bit, and just hope that is gonna make things a little bit better for us. Now, in terms of the rare earth crisis. I think the Green Initiative has pretty much achieved the most it can. So the only effect that we really can hope for is foreign relations to come up a little bit. And it's going to do that, but it's going to take a long time. So I'm not sure that that's going to be extremely helpful. So the only thing that I know that we can do about that is over here somewhere. Rare earth mining, there we go. It's very expensive, both in terms of political capital and in terms of cost. It's 200 billion. That's enormous amounts of money. So that's unfortunately not something that I can look at right now. So yeah, that's going to be that. So the other thing that I really want to get rid of is the alcohol abuse, just because it's so costly and it's going to increase crime and all of that. So yeah, let's try to bring that down a little bit. I think we can't do it by community policing. That is maxed out anyway. Alcohol consumption is sort of stable. The alcohol awareness campaign just doesn't seem to kick in very strongly. So what I would like to change is the alcohol law. But that again will require a little bit more political capital than we have now. So I think we might briefly look at just seeing whether there's anything cheap that we might want to grab right now. These are nice things, but I don't think they'll be a very good investment for now. No, I think all in all, yeah, let's do the tourism ad campaigns. It's going to increase foreign relations just a little bit again, and tourism, which is nice, and it's not that expensive, so I think that's going to be alright. Where are we? 8 turns, so I think the next one will be our last turn for this episode, so let's see where that brings us. Hopefully going to balance out our GDP a little bit. GDP is still stable. Crime is seemingly coming down. Unemployment is still very high. It's extremely high, so that's not great. Poverty is coming down though. Ghettos have ended, skills shortages have ended, so that's extremely nice to see. And the economic forecast, again, we are on a little bit on top of things. Surplus in funding, our income seems to be coming down a little bit, but the cut in the army financing should have helped dramatically. It's still very high, it's still 10% of our budget, but I think we should be able to... Can we see the historics on that? I don't... Cost history, there we go. It should be coming down really drastically. And it's not at 300 billion. Right, I don't trust that graph. But yeah, definitely we are reducing, or the interest rate is stable, whereas debt over here, yeah, debt is stable as well. So maybe we can start to bring that down a little bit. Wouldn't that be lovely? Especially, I still think the global economy is still going down, and our relative GDP is somewhat stable in that against that backdrop. So I'm very happy about that. Rare earth crisis, I really hope that goes away. Productivity is still high despite the brain drain, so that's good to see as well. So I think with our second year in office behind us, I think this is a very good place to put in a cut and have a look at year 3 next time. I do feel fairly well about the surplus. It could be a little bit better, it could be a little bit more accelerated. In particular, we are probably still spending debt interest. I always look for interest and it's called debt interest or something. Yeah, there we go. It's 8% of our budget. That's enormous. Also because of the jumps in the interest rate due to our downgrade credit rating. So I hope that as we have a surplus here, our debt to GDP ratio will improve a little bit. That will drive down or increase our credit rating. That will drive down the interest rate, and that will have a positive reinforcement effect, hopefully. But we'll have to see a bit about that next time. With only 2 years to the next election, I think we should be starting to look a little bit at our popularity, which did come down here drastically as we increased the spending on... it did increase the income tax over here, so we'll need to address that a little bit. 37% voting intention is certainly not going to be enough to be re-elected. And of course, if we want to fulfill our communist dreams, that's something that we really need to take into account. So, but again, that's gonna have to wait until next time. For now, thank you guys for watching, and see you again next time. Bye bye.